What's up, guys? This is Jay Corbett of Team Sanctum. Today we're here with Concordio Draco himself, Jack Dunlap. How you doing today, buddy?
Good, how are you?
Doing good, man. So today you were playing the new Lair of Darkness structure deck, but like you added some twists and turns to it to be able to make it like, you know, meta capable. Lair of Darkness is a card.
Yeah, it's kind of like Kaiju's turned into a spell, but you can do more than just tribute your opponent's monster. Like make your opponent rip one out of their hand, or you get to set a trap from your deck. But ultimately, it's actually a fun deck.
All right. Is there any like text or like any choices where you're just like, oh, I know what this will work perfectly with Lair of Darkness? Because it's mainly what this deck is all about.
Share the pain, enemy controller. I know Duke Shade is sort of like a Kaiju, and it gets bigger the more dark monsters you use it. But I believe you can only use one dark monster since the field spell itself specifies using a monster. It doesn't say monsters to use Duke Shade. So I believe you have to use just one of their monsters in as many years.
Right.
But effects that tribute to get more effects off, like I said, enemy controller, would help interrupt your opponent's plays. So,
hey,
yeah.
Whoever's watching, go in the comments, whatever you said. Like, if you have any response to that, just let them know. But all right, let's get right into this deck profile, man. Show them your text and everything that you got, dude.
So first, I actually have just 3 Darkest Diabolos, and I'm just going to explain the effects of them since they're brand new and some people might not know the effects. Basically, he's a level 8 dragon with 3,000 attack and 2,000 defense, and has 4 effects total. 2 of them are passive. He cannot be targeted or tributed by your opponent's card effects, and once per turn, both effects are once per turn. If a dark monster you control is tributed, you can special summon himself from your hand and or grave. And then once per turn, you can tribute a dark monster. Your opponent takes 1 card from their hand and places it either on the top or bottom of their deck. And after that, I have 1 Infernal Dragon, just as a early game 2,000 attack monster. And if I have Lair of Darkness out, my opponent loses one of their monsters, and I get to bring him back because he destroys himself at the end phase. 3 Arima. Arima is like terraforming on legs, where he can search chest Lair of Darkness by discarding himself, and then if you, as a monster on the field, you can tribute a dark monster, draw 1 card, and then if the monster tributed was not himself, you can add 1 dark monster with 2,000 or more defense from your deck to your hand, like Darkest Diabolos. And then next I run 3 Stygian Street Patrol. It has decent attack, although some of the meta now can easily get over this, but the effect to burn actually helps push towards the condition of actually beating the opponent, and in the graveyard you can banish it, special summon a fiend from your hand. 1 Prometheus. When it's normal summon, you can banish as many dark monsters from your graveyard as possible, and it gains 400 attack for each, which can lead to some big OTKs if it's late game and you aren't using your viruses or anything else as much. Then next is 2 Duke Shade. This is the one I was talking about earlier, where you can tribute any number of dark monsters, summon it, and it gains 500 attack for each. And then when it is normal or special summoned, you can target 1 level 5 or higher dark monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. And it also has 2,000 defense, which is nice since Full Force Virus requires the monster to have 2,000 or more defense, I believe. 2 Phantom of Chaos to copy effects like Lilith or Arima to essentially either make a monster have attack to get over another monster, or just to have the effect. Next is 3 Lilith. And Lilith, if you don't know what she does as a quick effect, you can tribute a dark monster, reveal 3 normal trap cards from your deck. Your opponent randomly picks one and sets it to your field. The other 2 get shuffled back into your deck. And then 1 Tour Guide from the Underworld. This is mainly just to get Lilith quicker on the field. And while Lilith is summoned under Tour Guide, she keeps her original 2,000 attack. And this is all the monsters to deck. For the spells, triple Lair of Darkness, While on the field, all monsters on the field become dark monsters. And then once per turn, if you attribute a monster for a card effect, you contribute one monster your opponent controls, even though you do not control it. The reason it says that is Darkest Diabolos. If it said treat it as if you controlled it, then you could summon Darkest Diabolos, even though you had no monsters and you attributed one of your opponent's monsters. 3 Allure Darkness, draw power. 2 Reoccurring Nightmares, just to recycle Lilith and whatnot. 3 Hand Destruction to help dig through your deck faster. And ultimately, the deck doesn't have the greatest consistency so far. Like, ultimately, this is just 3 structure decks put together, and it does pretty well. Except for when you're facing against a deck that likes to just set 5 past before you can, and you can't activate Hand Destruction. 2 Fires of Doomsday, just summon 2 tokens, and for the rest of the turn you can't summon other monsters. And they are level 1, I believe. Yep. Level 1, Dark, Fiend, Attack 0, Defense 0. That's all the spells. And for the traps, you have 1 Crush Card Virus, 1 Eradicator Epidemic Virus, 1 Full Force, and 1 of the new trap, Grinning Grave. Grinning Grave, if you do not know what the effect is, you tribute 1 Dark Monster with 3,000 or less attack, then your opponent destroys cards from their hand and or deck for each 500 attack that monster had. So if you destroy a 3,000 attack monster, they take 6 cards out of their deck or hand. Then if the monster had 2,000 or more attack, look at all cards your opponent draws until the 3rd turn after this activation, destroy all monsters among them, and monsters destroyed by Grinning Grave cannot, or cards destroyed by Grinning Grave cannot activate their effects. And then for the regular traps, just 2 Dark Light as a Raigeki on the opponent's turn, and 2 Mind Crush.
Man, these are too good. Would you suggest a extra deck for this deck?
I would, honestly. Like, I don't really know what I would suggest as the extra deck, but since I haven't really had much experience with the deck, but ultimately I could say a couple rank 4s and maybe a rank 8 if you can, because I believe with Darkest Diabolos you can start looping it if you have 1 already on field and 1 in grave or hand, because it doesn't say except Darkest Diabolos, just when a dark monster is distributed, summon it. So it can lead to some looping. This deck could potentially use Scapegoat to link spam, because the deck does have trouble getting over big monsters that are unaffected by the viruses. So something like Borello Dragon against Apocryphort Towers, if Cleforts was ever to be good again, could help, but ultimately cards that tribute and cards that just help the deck go is what is needed.
All right. Well, thank you, Jack. Do you have any shout-outs you want to give to anyone?
Not really, except just Team Sanctum themselves, especially you.
Hey, man, if you want to shout out your channel, man, shout it out, my dude.
Concordia Draco is my channel, and tonight, hopefully, I'm going to do, or not tonight, before the making of this video, whenever it is posted, there will probably be my own version of this deck profile on my channel, and I've already planned an opening of the Lair of Darkness structure deck, but expect it to be very cringy and just a lot of fails.
Hey man, it's all good. That's what we're all about here. Hey, I'll be sure to put the link to your YouTube page in the description below. And as always, thank you for watching. Be sure you like, comment on the video. Let us know what you guys think of the new Lair of Darkness card and what you guys think of the structure deck. And be sure to check out our Patreon. Our Patreon's in the description below. And like us on Facebook. As always, this is Jay Corbett signing out.